Hi everybody, I'm Karen Poole and I'm back here today with the continuation of the flipping through or the series of flip throughs of my completed art journals. Recently finished volume number 1, so we're ready to start on volume 2. And we're going to do the first 4 spreads. So I count the cover, front cover and back cover together as a spread, but we'll do that one last because it's the one I finished last. So here we're looking at inside the front cover and the first page. And as I mentioned when we went through art journal number 1, a couple of things that I was enjoying doing were having a table of contents somewhere in the journal and also having a place where I could insert notes or other things as I felt the need. Apparently I didn't have the need for that in this volume since there's nothing in there. But gosh, I really like the color scheme of this. You know, the other day I was working on an art journal spread and it was monochrome green. Different kinds of green, but still green. And I was thinking to myself, you know, so often I gravitate to the same old colors, green, brown, and blue, possibly because I paint a lot of animals and they're in settings with green, brown, and blue. But as I'm going through these journals, I'm seeing that actually I have not overdone that color scheme and that I go through quite a few different ones, and this is an example of that. So one thing that's a little bit unusual about this page is that I've used fabric. So this, those are pieces of fabric. And, you know, as I look at it, I think, wow, I mean, they make really good collage pieces because sometimes, you know, it's hard to find in a magazine clipping something like this that's going to have a continuous pattern over a longer period of time. Or, you know what, it might also have been a napkin. So we'll take that back. Well, it's true of fabric, but I'm not sure now that I think about it more that this was not a napkin rather than fabric. In any case, there's not much collage on this in terms of layering. The background is painted and the painting is very loose and uses a lot of colors blending into each other, a little bit of alcohol ink. I think this is alcohol ink also. The collage parts, there's a piece of paper, cream color paper behind this strip, or this strip here is a piece of paper that's kind of supporting all these little table of contents pieces, which are just the names of the spreads are just written on these different papers with pencil and then glued on. And I tried to use a variety of papers, some of them from old books. That's where you get the oldish, the beigeur colors, or here's a yellower color. Here's one that's lined, so it's from an old notebook. This I see is watercolor paper, and I think this is too. But the journal itself is mixed media paper. So then I have the pocket, I have the table of contents, I have the different colors of paint, a little bit of collage mixing in, and then this banner across the top. So these are all just cut out and stamped with the letters and then pasted on, and the string is pasted on also. So this is Joy and HAPPINESS, Joy and Happiness, which is a amazing Rhythm Aces song from quite a while ago that my husband and I love to listen to. It's also dated. Here I have Karen Poole, August 2020 through February of 2021, and then a number 2, journal number 2. So in these days of the lockdown, I was finishing them up pretty quickly. Oh, and then spirals. I love spirals. And those are done with white paint and a liner brush. Okay, joy and happiness. This one is Belle La Belle. She is a cat I used to have. I adopted her and her sister. They were beautiful, long-haired cats. They had belonged to an older woman who died, and her family just threw them out the door of the house, and a kind neighbor scooped them up and took them to cat rescue. And I happened to be working at the cat rescue, and I came home with them. So they weren't forlorn for long, fortunately. So as I said, this is a little drawing I had of her, and it was just kicking around. I thought, I'd like to preserve her and put her in a spread in the art journal, and so that's what I did. So the background basically is just these 3 sections with collage in the background. Yes, this has collage in the background. This piece goes from the bottom to the top. This has collage in the background, but it's a variety. There's this purplish one behind, and then there's this, which really balances nicely with this above it. There's something else behind it. This looks like a piece of note paper from a little note tablet that I used to have. And here we have part of a, the edge of a napkin, or not napkin, a doily, the edge of a square doily. This part over here, the white designs at the top, and they're repeated a little bit over here, are from stencils, and those are stencils that I made, and I'll talk about those more when we get to the next spread. But stenciled over the collage, this is alcohol ink. That went on first since the stencil's over it. And these few little strips of writing, Belle La Belle, Belle La Belle. This is a some sort of a clipping, or perhaps one clipping over another. This bottom one, you can see the punched out area at the bottom. I have a paper punch that will punch this pretty design along an edge. Piece of a rose, more of the edge of whatever this was. And this ribbon, it sure looks like a real ribbon, but it's a clipping that I cut out very meticulously. I have some line work around here. I have line work along the edge. And a little bit of line work right there from Posca Pen in here. A couple little spirals. And what it says about Belle. Belle is not only beautiful, but also talented. She's a beater, an expert, what does that say? Seamstress, and a talented gardener with a specialty in pruning. So I had a photo of her. I had my sewing machine up, and she was sitting behind it, and she was sticking her paw in between, the arm and the part with the needle. So that makes her the seamstress. And then as far as the beater, if I was beading, I'd have a piece of old blanket laid out so the beads wouldn't roll all around. I'd have that laid out on the table and the beads on them. And she'd sit there and she'd reach out her paw. And she'd put her paw over the beads, but not really mess with them. And then a talented gardener with a specialty in pruning. She liked to chew on my houseplants, so that's what that's from. So my beautiful Belle. And I guess I can also say that I use these alcohol inks here to blend these 2 sections together with the blue and the lavender. So my Belle, beautiful girl. Another cat, King Henry. So I got him from a friend in cat rescue. He had a pretty sad story. He had been adopted a couple times and returned, and so then, they called me and could I give him a home, and of course, yes, of course. So Henry came and lived with me, and sweet cat. This was from a photo that I took of him, and I printed it out on the computer and fixed the ink so that it wouldn't run, collaged it on, and then I added the detail with the black pen and so on, and some shadowing with pale blue paint, and of course painted his eyes. And then he has a bluebird of happiness, perched on his ear. And this other ear, you can see the little notch taken off of it, showing that he had been in a shelter. The background is collage from a napkin, or no, from tissue paper, I believe. And then there's some stamping with bubble wrap in here. I did a line to demarcate an edge and then added a darker shade along the inside of the edge, and have some line work here with black Posca pen, and then little dots of white spiral, another white dotted spiral, another one. And this says Good King Henry, and this says, I can't read it totally because some of it's over this or under this black, but I hope little King Henry won't mind my telling you that we used to play patty cake. I'd be sitting in the big overstuffed armchair with King Henry laying on his back on my lap. I'd take his paws in my hands to lead him through the emotions, and sang the song, Patty Cake, Patty Cake. He could do that forever. And of course, unfortunately, he couldn't do it forever. But I wish he were still here, obviously. The pink heart, this is a reminder to everyone to eat as much candy with beautiful colored foil as you can, because that colored foil is really great for collage. So King Henry, my dear, miss you. And this, okay, this is where I was going to talk some more about the stencils. So this is just a very fun, loose, kind of foresty scene. And the background is mostly just painted and spattered and alcohol ink. And then I have some handwriting here, but the stems or the trunks of the trees are cut from old book pages that are tea-dyed or painted loosely or hit with alcohol ink. And then they're just the strips of them, I ripped them and just laid them next to each other and created these tree trunks. And then the leaves, some of them, let's see, a very few, these and these over here and these are cutouts from different colors of little bits of magazine clippings. But these leaves up here, they're all stenciled. And back in the day, in 2021 and so on, I had I don't know if you say a Cricut or a Cricut machine, C-R-I-C-U-T. And the reason I got it was that you could, it had software on it that you could connect with software that you installed on your laptop, and you could scan in images that you drew in black and white that could be created or could be turned into stencils. So these leaves, these various sprays of leaves, were things that I had done in black and white on a piece of paper, and I took them into the Cricut or Cricut software on the laptop and did whatever I had to do with them. And then I had a special kind of plastic that you could cut for stencils, and you'd put that in the Cricut machine, you turn the thing on, and it'd zip, 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 cut those stencils, and it was really great fun. I still have the machine, haven't used it in a long time, and of course it's been 5 years or so, so I'd have to probably upgrade the software to do it, which would be a giant pain, but possible, most likely. So I decided to have the theme of this forest scene be kind of virtues or things to strive for. Oh, let's see. 3 priorities for spiritual and emotional shelter: gratitude, equanimity, and faith. So I have those words stamped on these pieces of paper that are collaged on here: gratitude, equanimity, and faith. And then the pencil writing is my take on those 3 things. And we got little and at the base of the trees, it looks like we've got little holes, little shelters, and they've got little fairy lights in them. And here we have a bunny, and we have a bunny coming around this tree also. And here, blue, beautiful blue foil. Again, another call to eating that candy. So I am inspired all over again when I look back through the journals, and am reminded of some techniques that I've used in the past and sort of forgotten about, and I will enjoy getting back to them. So that's our 4 for this session, and I will be back probably next week to do the next 4. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you are doing some art journaling and enjoying it very much. Take care. Bye-bye.